Hi there, impromptu video here. The quality of this video won't be great, and there will be no editing or post-production. I'm sure I'm going to screw up and mix up my words, but that's the way it goes. I wanted to talk about this and get this out there quickly because we're all talking about our buddy Will Smith. Oh my God, the internet's fucking blowing up about this. Beta male, he's a beta male. Will Smith's a cuck. Caleb, Will Smith's a cuck. So, in all things, you want to evaluate these kinds of things objectively and rationally based on the facts, and not based on your opinions or your biases. You want to do that in all respects, in all areas of your life. Most men on the internet can't do this. So in this video, I will do this. I will analyze this objectively and rationally, which means I'm going to defend Will Smith in some areas, because a lot of things that people are saying about him are not true. And I'm also going to attack Will Smith on some things he did very, very wrong, because I'm objective and I'm rational. See how this works? Okay, first of all, this thing about, if you don't know what I'm talking about, 2 or 3 days ago, it came out that Jada Pinket, Will Smith's wife, and I just did a video about these two 3-4 weeks ago. They've had an open marriage for a long time. I'll talk about that in a second. Jada Pinket came out and said that she had an affair with some rapper 4.5 years ago. And what's going around on the internet is that Will Smith gave her permission. And so now everyone in the red pill community is blowing up about, oh my God, Will Smith's a cuck and Will Smith's a beta. So let's discuss that. First of all, first thing. Will Smith, as I've talked about for many years, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, they've been married over 20 years now. They have had an open marriage, some type of non-monogamous marriage. I don't know the details. I don't think anyone knows the details of this, but they are not monogamous. Will Smith has been banging hot chicks left and right this entire time, including Margot Robbie, allegedly. I don't want to get sued. But he has been fucking not only hot chicks this entire time, including women of the caliber of Margot Robbie. Is that beta? Is that the behavior of a beta? Is that the behavior of a cuck? Have you fucked Margot Robbie? You haven't? Well, if Will Smith is a beta, what does that make you? Will Smith is not a beta. Now, just because you do things wrong in your relationships does not mean you're a beta. Just because you're an alpha, that doesn't mean you never do anything wrong. Arnold Schwarzenegger is one of the biggest alphas in modern history, and he completely fucked up his relationship. So alpha males, including very competent, capable alpha males like Will Smith, can make mistakes. That doesn't make them a beta. It also doesn't make him a cuck. I'll tell you why. When Jada Pinkett did this, as far as I can see, and I've done the research on this, I've read a bunch of articles, and they talked about this on the videos and a bunch of other things. Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, when Jada Pinkett did this, were separated. They weren't together. Will Smith kicked Jada out of his house. Does that sound like a beta? Bitch, get out of my house. He actually said, I'm done with you. Get out of my house. He kicked her out. They broke up. They were not together when she did this. A lot of guys are acting as if Will Smith was they were together and married. Will Smith was sitting home by himself jerking off to porn while she's out banging other dudes. No, that is not what happened. Please look at the facts. This occurred when they were on the rocks and they weren't together and they weren't even living together, because by their own admissions, they both admitted this. Will Smith kicked Jada out of his house. How is that beta? How is that a cuck? It's not. Even if Jada had hooked up with a guy, one guy, while Will Smith is banging tons of chicks, including Margot Robbie, is that a cuck? I've talked about this before. There's a difference between a cuck and a man in a properly managed Alpha 2.0 non-monogamous marriage. I have sex with other women all the time, and I'm married. Just a few days ago, all the time, every week, I'm with other women. If my wife, she doesn't do this, but if my wife decided to go hook up with one guy after I've been with, how many women have I been with since I was with my wife? We've been together for 5.5 years, and I've been doing this, having sex with other women since day one. Non-stop, tons of women. So let's say she hooks up with one guy. Does that make me a cuck? How? If Will Smith is out banging chicks left and right, and I don't know the details, I don't know the numbers, but I know he's doing it, and I know the caliber of the women he's doing it with. And let's say Jada was still living with him and hooked up with a guy. How does that make him a cuck? That's not a cuck. That is a properly managed non-monogamous marriage. Now, if you're going to say, I would never allow my woman to do that, that's a very different topic. I've addressed that topic on my other videos and all my other content. Long-term sexual monogamy does not work. You will get divorced, or you will cheat and get caught and get divorced, or she will cheat on you. One of those three things will happen. The odds are something like 96%. One of those things will eventually happen. Long-term monogamy doesn't work. So if you're going to say, I don't care, I'm just going to fantasize, that's a different topic for another time. But when people are called Will Smith a cuck or a beta, that is inaccurate. He is neither. He is the opposite of those two things. A matter of fact, I would submit that Will Smith is probably as close to alpha male 2.0 as someone in his position could be when you're married and very world famous and you're literally a household name. There's some limitations on what you can do in that scenario in terms of your sex life, but whatever. All right. So does that mean Will Smith did everything perfectly? No. Will Smith made some big mistakes. So that's number one. Number two, they weren't together when this happened. That's number two. So you got to remember that. A lot of guys are fantasizing as if he was home alone while she's out banging other dudes. Okay? Okay. Now, next piece to this. That's what he did right, and that's what people are, that's what people are getting on him about. Let me talk about what he did do wrong. So what he did do wrong is he did two things wrong. Number one, when he kicked her out, he kind of left it ambiguous. He didn't immediately file divorce papers. Will Smith has a big fear of getting divorced. Some men are like this. A lot of men are like this. I would say most men are like this. So he kind of left it ambiguous. If I had to kick my wife out because she was making me that unhappy, I would file divorce papers the next fucking day. The next day, I would be down at the courthouse filing papers. I would be divorced within a month. And because I have an OLTR marriage, she has signed a lot of paperwork and that I don't lose a single penny if I get divorced. I don't know if Will Smith has that kind of paperwork himself. Hopefully he does. I would guess he probably does, but who knows? So that's what he did wrong. First thing he did wrong. He kicked her out and said, I'm done, but he really wasn't done. So he was very wishy-washy on this. Hang on a second. That's the first thing he did wrong. And that's a big thing. When you are living with a woman and you need to kick her out of your apartment or out of your house, you need to fucking end it. Now, you can still hook up with her if you want as an FB or MLTR if you like, depending on the scenarios, if it's amicable. But you don't want to just kick a woman out and just stay married. A lot of guys make that mistake. A lot of women make that mistake when they kick guys out. Big fucking mistake. And that's a big part of the problem. He should not have done that. He should have ended it. Divorced her and moved on to other women. By the way, I'm sure he had sex with other women while Jada was hooking up with this rapper. I would bet $50,000 of my own money that he did this. Matter of fact, let's rewind a second. I would bet $50,000, and I mean this, I would bet $50,000 that the number of women Will Smith has had sex with during his marriage is more than 10x, 15x, 15 times more women than Jada hooked up with men during their marriage. How is that a cuck? How is that a beta? Okay, so that's the first mistake he made. Second mistake he made is that it's not that she just hooked up with a guy. This is where these guys attacking Will Smith are correct. It's not that she hooked up with a guy. She had a relationship with another guy. Apparently, she actually had a real in love with feelings, dating, emotional, romantic relationship with another guy. And also, this guy was, at the time, 25 years old. No, she's in her 50s. I think Jada Pinket was 51. So at the time, she's probably about my age, about 48. No. No. But anyway, that's another topic in terms of age differences. Getting serious. I've talked about this before in my blogs. Getting very, very, very serious with women who are like essentially teenagers. That's kind of what she did. So that's not cool. But the problem is she didn't just fuck a guy. She dated another guy. And Will Smith brought her back. Now, what he's talking about when he said, I give you permission, the reason he said that is because that was in the context of they were broken up. He's like, yeah, we're not together. Fine, she can do whatever she wants. That's fine. The problem is he brought her back. I wouldn't do this. I would never do this with any OLTR. If I have a serious girlfriend or wife, non-monogamous or not, but non-monogamous in my world, fine. You want to hook up with a guy occasionally wearing a condom? Fine. I don't give a shit. I'm too busy having sex with other women and traveling the world and building my companies. I don't care. Fine. But if you're going to date another guy, you're going to have feelings for another guy, we're done. I'm sorry, we're done. You're out of my house. I file divorce papers the next day. I don't get mad about it. I'm Alpha 2.0. I'm Malcolm Independent. I'm not going to take it personally. All right, I'm just going to move on. That's fine. But we're not going to be a married couple anymore. We're not going to be a dating boyfriend-girlfriend couple anymore. We can hook up. You can be an FB. You can be an MLTR. Maybe we could date casually. But we're not going to be serious anymore. Because you've proven that you can take your feelings and shove it into another place. OLTR model, the OLTR Alpha 2.0 model. OLTR means you are emotionally exclusive, but you're sexually open. So you can fuck anyone you want to fuck as long as you follow ground rules, but In terms of emotions, you're only with that one person you're with. Now, if that's not what you want, you shouldn't get into an OLTR. You should stick with MLTRs, which are wonderful. I did MLTRs for 10 years. It's great, where you can be non-emotionally exclusive. You can be emotional with multiple people. Great, that's what you should do. But you can't have both. You can't be half in and half out. You're emotionally exclusive or you're not. So the fact that he kind of somehow, I don't know the details, worked this back into his marriage because they're back together again, that's a mistake. I would never do this. If a woman I was dating in an OLTR, meaning a girlfriend or a wife relationship, left me, first I got to kick you out of my house. Relationship's done. We're over. Okay, FB, maybe we're done. On top of that, while it's not done, she dates another guy and then wants to come back to me after dating another guy. You're not going to be a girlfriend again. I might date you casually. I might hook up with you. You might be my buddy, but we're not together in a serious way. You've already proven that you're not 100% exclusive to me. That's what OLTR means. And again, if you hate that, some of you guys hate emotional exclusivity, fine, stick with MLTRs. But Will Smith didn't do any of that. That was Will Smith's mistake, and that is something he did wrong. He should not have done that. I disagree that he did that. The guys attacking him are right about that. The guys attacking him are wrong when they start calling him some kind of cuck or some kind of beta where he lets his wife go fuck other men while he's home alone doing nothing. That is not true. That's not what happened. That's literally not what happened. So that is the objective and rational analysis of what's going on with Will Smith. That is my opinion. And notice I was rational. I attacked him on the things he did wrong, and I defended him on the things he did right. I didn't just go, he's a cuck. You got to do the research and look into this stuff and be objective and rational. And let me say this again. Just because you are an alpha male 1.0 or 2.0 doesn't mean you don't make mistakes. Doesn't mean you don't make big mistakes in your relationships. Making a mistake when you're an alpha 2.0 does not suddenly make you a beta or suddenly make you a cuck. It doesn't. I don't make big mistakes in my relationship so far. I mean, down the road, who knows? Hopefully I won't. But that doesn't mean that you're suddenly a beta because you make a mistake. As I've talked about before, a cuck, a true beta in a non-monogamous arrangement, is a guy who is home by himself jerking off the porn while his wife is out banging dudes. He's not having sex with any other women, but she's out having sex with dudes. I have slept with married women in open marriages who had marriages like that, where the husband was home watching her kids while she was having sex with me. That's a cuck. Yes, and I don't say that as an insult. That's literally a cuck, especially if the guy is a little turned on by that. That's what cuckold means. That's a cuck. That is not Will Smith. That is not what Will Smith has done. That is not what he has ever done as far as I know. So he's not a cuck. He's not a beta. He is an alpha male who made a mistake, made two big mistakes. Mistakes, I agree, are mistakes. That's it. See, that's how you evaluate something objectively and rationally. Food for thought.